It's been 2 days and now it's Friday. Tomorrow is Saturday, Sunday and Monday. So yeah, I'm not going to school because it's Friday. Fuck school. May as well stay home and chill at home. So yeah, fuck school con. Let's have a joint, smoke some weed and watch YouTube. Why the fuck not, dude? What should I watch? What should I watch, dude? What should I watch? What should I watch, dude? What should I watch? No! I don't want to watch that bitch. Just fuck off, dude. What else? Yeah, why not?
Nobody likes waiting.
Fuck off, Edge. Let's watch.
Play.
Let's watch. What else should I watch?
My
name is Heidi, and I'm 15 years old.
Fuck off.
My name is Peter, and today I'm going to reveal my biggest secret. It is very difficult for me to tell you this story because I have never spoken to any of my friends or family about these. A few months ago, my mother got married, and now that our parents are far away and her boyfriend broke up with her, she can now tell me everything. She also added that she knew it might be strange for me, but we do not have to tell anyone. We spent that night in her room making love. The next morning, I still could not believe it had really happened. I felt a little disgusted, but over the days, we started doing it again, and again, and most of the time, we weren't using protections. I hope you know what I'm talking about. 6 weeks later, she told me that she is pregnant. We could not keep the child, so we decided to terminate the pregnancy. It has been several months that we are together. I learned to love her, but we do not know what the future holds. If it was you, what would you have done in my place?
Or just keep the baby. Simple enough. Easy. Done. So yeah, simple enough, dude.
Have you ever felt so lonely that you wanted to give up on life? I hope not.
I understand why girls love Brandon so much. He might be a jerk to me, but with the girls he's confident and funny.
So yeah.
A twin sister. We look alike pretty much, but have completely different personalities. I'm a little timid, but my older sister is always active. And unlike me, she's ambitious and greedy. Since she was young, she's been studying well, exercising hard, and acquiring many certificates. As a result, she got a good job. I admired her and liked her. But to be honest, I didn't feel like she likes me that much. I felt like she's a little underestimating me. You need to take care of your body shape. Stop eating too much. Okay. She keeps on lecturing me. When I'm studying, she would say, "Well, that's a first. You are studying. I want to study hard and become like you." What? How is that possible? She comes around me and ignores me. Then she leaves. So if I tell about her to my friends, they would say, "Hey, your older sister is just worrying about you. You should learn from her." Phew, everyone hates me. It happens every time. But I admit that she is really smart. Well, that's life. Anyway, I've been doing like this. However, she crossed the line since I started dating my boyfriend. Are you having a good relationship with him? Are you going to be married? Yes, he is a good guy. A good guy? How can you meet a good guy? It is hard to tempt guys. Ha, you ignore me. I'm really curious to know what kind of guy is seeing you. Can you introduce him to me? So we met all together at the lunch table. He's my boyfriend. Say hello. Huh, you look like a quite good guy. Why are you seeing my younger sister? Ever since she met my boyfriend, she was interested in him. She would keep asking me about his job, university, and home address. Well, I thought she can ask me because she's my family. Then one day, I got a baby of my boyfriend. It was all of a sudden, but we were dating on the premise that we'll get married. I was happy to have his baby and let everyone know. And we set a wedding date. Most of the people around me were happy to hear it, except the only one person. She cursed my boyfriend in my face since she found out that I got pregnant. Are you really going to marry him? Of course, I'm pregnant. You don't match him for level difference. Wouldn't it be better to break up? My boyfriend is not like that. He's too much for you. That kind of relationship is dangerous. You'd better break up. Why are you saying like that? I want you to meet a guy that matches you. I'm just worried about you. Oh my. She kept telling me bad things about my boyfriend and urging me to break up. And another strange thing was that my boyfriend and my older sister meet often. He told me that he bumped into her and have a cup of coffee together. But she and he have never met before. But considering that they bump into each other often, I thought she wants to meet my boyfriend for purpose and pretend to be accident. She visits to my boyfriend's SNS and acts like she knows about him. She takes care of the way she looks. I doubted if she wants to tempt my boyfriend, but I thought it was just imagination and was like, well, whatever. But one day, my sister showed me something that made me...
My whole world fell apart. It's a bit of a long story, but I'll do my best to keep it kind of brief and summarize everything that has happened. I'll start from the very beginning, when my dad died. My dad died when my mom was pregnant with me. It was a sudden death. No one had expected it at all. He woke up that morning fine, and by night, he was gone. Then my mom gave birth to me. She was so happy, life was great, and the future looked promising. After that, my mom met my stepdad, David, when I was 14. His car broke down, and he had to hitchhike. My mom picked him up, and they exchanged numbers. They started seeing each other after that, and stayed pretty much together. 1 year later, they got married. My stepfather was a weird guy. He was always rather twitchy, and his eyes would jerk strangely when he looked at me, like he was paranoid or something. One night, he entered my room without knocking or anything. I asked him if he needed anything. He sat down on the bed with me and told me he liked me. Then he said he only felt that way because I'm his first daddy's girl. He said he liked me as in, I want to kiss you, you are cute. Then he told me it wasn't in a sexual way, that he just wanted to kiss me. He realized it was only because I was his first daddy's girl.
I wouldn't
I
care
didn't sleep that
if I
night,
was
and I was
you.
thinking about telling my mom, but I was
Women.
afraid she didn't believe me.
Puh.
The other night, he started talking about how he would give me money if I gave him photos of me naked, but this time I recorded him. The next day, I told my mom what happened.
All
At first, my mom
women
didn't believe me.
should
But when she
realize
listened
who
to the
their
recording,
master
she was
is.
so angry. Then my mom confronted him and went into
The
a fight with
men
him.
are the
After
masters
that,
of the
he
fucking
begged her to give him
women.
another chance, but she didn't think she could ever forgive him. Then they got divorced. David had it in his mind that he absolutely had to take revenge on me. One day, I was walking home from school. It seemed like any other mundane afternoon. Then someone pushed me to me to be filled with activity.
If I was her stepdad, I would fucking put my dick, pull down her pants, and pretty much rape her.
Nobody likes waiting, so why wait for your pay? My pay now. You're paid.
So yeah, because why not just to show her who's the master is around here? All girls should realize that men are their masters. Women are programmed to cook and fuck. That's all. And clean also. She's a dumb bitch, that chick. That chick is a dumb bitch. That guy should have pulled out his dick right down then and pull down her pants and rape her. Done. That guy was stupid. That guy was stupid from not, pulling down his pants and showing, the dick. Funny. That guy's stupid from not pulling out his dick.
Hey there, I'm Amanda and I'm 20. So lately, something really weird has been happening when I was going to bed each night. I would go to bed and everything would be normal, but when I would wake up, things would be moved around. They might be put in a new spot or maybe knocked onto the ground or something like that. I even noticed sometimes food was missing from the fridge and sometimes there would be extra food that I didn't buy in there. The really weird thing though is normally my room was always very clean when I went to bed. But when I woke up in the mornings, my laundry basket behind the door would often be knocked over with clothes spilling out of it. This normally happened whenever someone opened my door way too hard. They would hit the basket and knock it over. while I was sleeping, but I was starting to get scared. See, I'm a person who believes in ghosts, and I was starting to worry if my apartment was haunted. I didn't know how ghosts were able to eat and bring me food, but still, I was scared. One night, I woke up to a loud banging sound. It sounded like my front door had just been slammed shut. I got out of bed and grabbed the nearest thing I could use as a weapon. It just so happened to be the lamp that sat on the table next to my bed. I cautiously walked out of my room and flipped on the light switch for the living room, expecting to see a ghost or a robber or something. Instead, no one was there at all. My apartment was completely empty. I put my lamp...
Said yes. My heart started beating fast, and then, in front of all my friends,
Come and
he
join.
proposed me. Without waiting, I answered him yes. That day was the luckiest day for me, and till today, we are together. What's your story? True Tales wants to hear it. If you also have any such moment, you...
More than before. I felt that even he had a...
My dad's a total jerk, and not even good looking. So how come you would...
I've been in the army. I wouldn't say.
Fuck off.
Search Webjet's price in Canada.
Fuck off.
Annual value agreement.
It was the happiest... It was the happiest... It was the happiest...
There we are.
Hi, I'm Isabel, and this is the story of how I became a mother and a sister at the same time. It all started a few years back when I was a senior in high school. In the beginning of senior year, a boy named Kevin transferred into our class. His dad had just gotten a new job, which required his family to move to my city. I remember thinking he was cute when I first saw him. He was one of those silent types who would listen more than they would speak. Eventually, we got to talking, and I started growing more and more attached. He would often catch me staring at him in class, and he would give me a knowing smile, as if to say, I feel the same way. We started dating not long after, and those first few months were one of the happiest moments in my life. Kevin was one of the kindest people I've ever met. He would take me out to dates and movies, and he treated me like a princess. My mom loved him too. She would have no problem with me being out late at night as long as she knew Kevin was with me. My mom and I have always had a very special relationship. To me, she's not just a parent. She's also my sister and best friend. My mom is pretty young. See, she had me when she was just 18. She had met my dad in college and they got married when they were still students. She tells me it was one of those times when you just know that he's the one. Unfortunately, my dad was not long for this world. He died in an accident a year after I was born. When I was 14, my mom met Alan, and I could tell by looking at them that they loved each other dearly. He was a widower like my mom, and had no children of his own. My mom had met him on a dating site, and after the first date, she came back home with a radiant glow on her face. I was so excited for her.
I knew better than anyone how hard she had worked to raise me as a single mother, and the struggles she had endured. She deserved to be happy, and what made her happy was Alan. Pretty soon he became an important part of our lives. A couple months into my relationship, I started feeling nauseous, and I was tired all the time. One day I was looking in the mirror, and I noticed that my breasts had grown bigger. That was when it hit me. A million thoughts ran through my head. I was scared, confused, and mortified all at the same time. I was only 18, which also happened to be the same age as my mother was when she had me. After I confirmed it with a pregnancy test, the first thing I did was call Kevin. I told him we need to talk. Poor guy, he thought I was going to break up with him. I sat him down and told him that I was pregnant. For a second, I could see a range of emotions flutter through his face, and I was reminded of why I had fallen for him in the first place. He was just like me. His hesitation was only momentary, though, as he immediately told me that he would support me all the way through our shared ordeal. If I haven't mentioned it yet, let me just say how lucky I am to have someone like Kevin who loves and cares for me deeply. The next person I told was obviously my mom. I gently approached the subject while making idle conversation. The minute she heard it, tears welled up in her eyes. She just looked at me and started crying. For a long while, she did not say a word and just kept sobbing with her hands in her face. I was utterly confused. Was she angry? Disappointed? Or were these tears of joy? And that is when I noticed her figure. She had gained weight, and like me, her breasts had become swollen. My worst fear came true when she told me she was pregnant as well. I was outraged. I thought to myself, how could she do this to me? I had been counting on her being there for me through my pregnancy and afterwards. But how could she do that when she would be taking care of her own child? My little sister. And that's when I realized how selfish I was being. After all she'd done for me, my mom had every right to be happy. Then I started crying as well. We hugged each other tightly and we both cried for a long while. So there we were, two pregnant women. What I initially thought of as a complication turned out to be a blessing in disguise. My mom and I were there for each other through every step of the process. We did all our shopping together. We went to the same doctor, and we even craved the same junk food. It was a unique yet blissful experience, and it helped a lot that my mom had already been through it once before. My little girl was born 2 days before her aunt. 2 years later, they both looked so much alike that anyone would mistake them for sisters. My mom and I take turns watching over them so that she can spend time with Alan, who has now become my stepfather, and I can have more time alone with my beloved Kevin. Getting pregnant at the same time as my mom has been a miracle, and a special bonding experience that has brought us even closer to each other. All of this has taught me that there's definitely a light at the end of every tunnel.
My name is Michael, and this is the story of how I messed up my entire family and lost all contact with my dad. But that's getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you how our story begins. I was about 15 years old when my mom, Maggie, died. It was sudden and heartbreaking when she lost her life due to an illness we knew nothing about until it was far too late to save her. I still remember the funeral, how I watched my dad, Andrew, crying and sobbing over her open casket, promising her he would do his best for me and my baby sister Melody. It was heartbreaking. I never even cried that day. No, I waited till I was home, locked up in my room to cry, as I knew if I cried it would make everything worse for my dad. I had already promised my mom I would be strong for him and help him out as much as I could, but it was hard. I lost my mom, the woman who had always been there for me in my life, the one who taught me to make brownies for my dad's birthday and was there when I learned to ride a bike. It was misery. Flash forward about 5 years, and now I'm in university as an engineering major, doing my mom proud. She always had wanted me to do something great and important with my life, and and I was always good with maths, so this was the ideal position for me. One evening I was chilling out at home, a lot cheaper than living in dorms, when Dad came home, the most beautiful woman. She had bright blue eyes that made the world stop. They looked like winter ice with the light shining off of them. Silky red hair that fell in waves across her shoulders, lips that were rosy red and full, and a body that screamed, "Look at me." I practically dropped the plate I was holding from the washing up when she came through the door, wondering if my dad had arrived home and brought me an angel. Oh God, how I wished that were true. But instead he introduced her as Madeline Cross, a girl he had been seeing for the past few months. I had no issue with Dad seeing other women. After all, it had been years since Mom passed, and I know she wouldn't want him to be alone forever. She would want him to move on eventually and find new love. That much I understood. But did he have to pick someone who was my ideal type? I stammered something stupid about, "Hi, nice to meet you," and when she spoke, I swear angels were singing in the background, and her form was lit up by a halo. For the first time in my life, I wished my dad would mess this up and break up with her. Anything for a chance with the woman of my dreams. However, he did not mess anything up. No, in fact, over the next 2 years, he was the most wonderful boyfriend and partner to her. It was like Madeline was over every single day and every single night. The moments where I love her, but that love will never be bigger than my love for this family as a whole. It would have been easier if we hadn't fallen asleep. And God's, it would have been easier if my dad did not walk in.
The doctors were very kind. They were having an affair for so long. He was having an affair with me and my friend, 15 years old, when my mom and my real dad got divorced over a girl who was... Hi, to avoid this.
No.
I know it has no point.
What else should I watch, dude? What else should I watch?
It was a beautiful autumn afternoon.
Why not?
I was on my way to my best friend Silas' house on my bike. A couple of us friends were gathering there to go cycling around the trail in the forest near her house. We used to go there every 2 weeks to get some fresh air and exercise. However, I was not as excited about cycling more than I was for something else. The thing was that I had a huge crush on Silas' older brother, Silas. He was so handsome and athletic and also very loving and caring to Sila, which I absolutely admired. And the crush was not new since Sila and I had been friends for years. I knew him for just as long. He used to take us to get ice cream when we were small, and I liked him ever since. But before we move on, like this video, hit that...
Yeah? Yeah, Mum? Guess what? What? Me and you are going on the vacation. Just me and you? Yeah. Okay. Where are we gonna go on the vacation to, Mum? Japan. Nice. How long for? A month. Cool. Let's go get in my car and yeah. Done. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys, I got a new car. That old car is in the garage. And you know, that garage there. Let's head to the airport. Done, son. I cannot believe it, we're going to Japan. Yep. Oh man. Hell yeah, Japan, buddy. Let's head to the airport. Here we are at the airport. Yep. Let's go. Done. Here we are in Japan. Yep.
Yeah, I know. Yo, dude.
Nice. Tokyo. Let's go take a taxi. Done. Do you know where the place is? Yeah? Cool. Tell him. Got it, I will. Yeah, take us to that location, please. Sure, no problem. Can you hurry up, please? Got it. I'm going to take a nap. Wake me up when we get there. Okay. Thanks, Mom. You're welcome, son. Good night. Good night. This is the whole hotel, huh? Where we're staying at? Yep. Our room is on the top floor. Cool. Hell yeah, I cannot believe it, dude. I'm in Japan, buddy. I cannot believe it. I'm in Japan. Tokyo. I'm in Japan, Tokyo City. Oh, hell yeah, dude. I cannot believe it. Oh, man. So, this must be a room here somewhere. Yeah, it's all the way down at the end. And yep. Right here. Let's head inside. Okay. Office, lounge room, balcony out there. Kitchen. Dinner table, fireplace there.
You freaking idiot.
Nice. Bathroom.
No freaking way.
1 bedroom. Cool. And then 2 bedroom.
Estúpido.
This will be your room, and I'll be sleeping in that other room, that spare bedroom. Okay, all good.
You freaking idiot.
Do you want something? I'm gonna order room service. Yeah, I'd like a burger, please. Sure, no problem. Cool. I'll be out on the balcony, okay? Okay. Mum? Yeah, what's up, son? If it's a chick, right? Yeah? Try to convince her to fuck me. Sure, son. Thanks. You're welcome, son. Okay, see ya. See ya.
and activate the notification bell, and your crush will ask you out in 2 days. Trust me, it works. However, as our friend group increased, I wasn't the only one with a crush on him, as the other girls started eyeing him too. Because he was hot, and Sila's house was our #1 hangout place, as her parents were out working most of the time. Sila was okay with her friends having a crush on her big brother, but she was not okay if anyone was thinking about asking him out. "You're not allowed to date my brother as long as we're friends," she would say, as she didn't want things to be, in her words, awkward and gross. So I had almost reached her house, and I was so excited to get a peek of him. But when I reached it, I didn't see any bikes outside the house. The others should have reached here by now, I thought, and checked my phone to see if I had received a text or call, but there was none. So I went straight in to get Sila. But when I rang the doorbell, her brother opened the door. "Hey, is Sila in?" I asked in a low, shy voice. "Hey, Ophelia? Yeah, she's in her room," he said, and let me in. I walked right past him and to her room, not knowing a big disappointment was waiting for me there. "Why aren't you out already, and where are the other girls?" I said as I got into her room. She asked me to sit down and told me that she started getting nauseous all of a sudden, so she wouldn't be able to go, and that the other girls had called to cancel just minutes before I arrived. After hearing that, I felt a little sad, as I absolutely hated last-minute cancellations of plans. "I'm so sorry, Ophelia," she said. She was really sick, so I had nothing to be mad at her about. "It's okay, it's not your fault. And besides, I can take a small bike hike all by myself," I said, trying not to sound disappointed or insensitive. But then Silas entered the room and said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. Now, we can't have the lady have all the fun and fresh air by herself, now can we?" He smirked. I was in so much awe of his smile that I forgot that I had to say something. But I didn't have to, as he again added that he was going to accompany me. I was more than happy and so excited that I wanted to jump and scream. But I kept my calm. "That'd be nice," I said, and Sila agreed. So we headed out on our bikes, cycling through the trail in the woods with the birds chirping in the tall trees. It felt like a movie to me. At that point, I was glad that the girls decided to bail out at the last moment. I got to have a date with my crush. As we were cycling, we decided to stop near a spring of water to take a break for a while. We placed our bikes on the ground and sat on a stone nearby. Silas asked for my bottle of water and drank from it, and even put some on his hair. I cannot put in words how hot he looked when he did that. After that, we started talking about school and interests and a lot of different things. And when we were done talking and were about to get up and go, he said something that just took me to the clouds. "I didn't know you were so cool to talk to, and I've known you for so long. We should hang out more often, just the two of us." Hearing what she said, I couldn't help but cry. However, it was not because I was hurt. It was because I was glad to get my best friend back. The happy tears. Then things went back to normal for us. We hung out at each other's house like usual. However, our friend group was no longer together, as there was just the two of us. Later at school, we heard that the 3 girls were planning on revenge against Silas. They managed to get the contact information of the rest of the girls on the board and sent them the picture of it. They even uploaded it to the internet, captioning, "The truth about Silas," because of which he was humiliated and his reputation was ruined. "He deserves it," Silas said and laughed after seeing all the internet drama. And for Silas, he didn't change his ways even after all the humiliation. If you want to know how I knew about that, well, Sila and I sneaked into his man cave multiple times after, and he had a different set of girls
Actually,
every time
no.
on the scoreboard.
Women should
He
know
remained a player,
who's their
but I got
master
over the
is.
crush and started
The
considering
men.
dating other guys. However, I was careful of who I chose to date and always checked it with Sila, as she was a nice judge of character and the best person to have as a friend.
If I was
Thanks
that
for
guy,
watching. Have you ever found out something?
whoa, all those guys in the same
Don't
room,
forget to subscribe.
I will
and check
pull
out
up my
other
dick and
videos
say,
on the channel.
"Here,
My parents
everyone suck it and fuck
They
me."
wanted to make me the best gymnast, so they had started training me ever since I was little, and I was very good
Even
at it.
his
so they were
sister.
dedicated towards the goals
Suck it
even
and
more as
fuck
I
it.
grew. They were very excited about my training routine and my eating habits. I had to train every day with exercise and running in the morning and evening. During the day, I would have to do the body weight and movement exercises, and after school, I had to train with a professional gymnastics trainer at the training center. It was pretty hectic, and then I wasn't allowed to eat junk food or any food that was not made by my mother after counting all the calories. And the worst part was when I turned 16, my mother came to give me the talk about whom I must choose as my boyfriend. Yes, they were putting restrictions there too. But before we move on, like this video, hit that subscribe button, and activate the notification bell, and one of your wishes will soon come true. Trust me, it works. You can date any other gymnast or any other types of athletes, not anyone else, she said, and her reason for that was so that my boyfriend could understand my routines and motivate me, and other guys would simply ruin my health and habits. I was so done with living like that and hated having to follow the schedule all the time. I wanted to live carefree, eat junk, and have fun like my friends. And most importantly, I realized that I wasn't at all into athletes, but more into gothic baddie kind of guys. So I wanted to date whoever I wanted. So I started acting out and doing the things that my parents had restricted me to do. I started sleeping till late in the morning, skipped my runs after